Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Well, fuck me sideways. Hold the line! Hold the line! Hold the line! You shall not pass!
Something to think about if you throw trash on Texas highways. Somebody up there is going to be watching.
Oh no, you did not shoot that green shit at me!
I have you now.
Watch the birdie!
You must go faster.
Inconceivable!
Say hello to my little friend!
Come out, wherever you are.
Peekaboo!
We've been hit!
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground! Don't try it!
Armor piercing, loaded!
Special delivery!
Target to...
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Gotcha, bitch!
Hey everybody, you know what time it is. I know what time it is. That's right. It's time for Syntext Live. How you guys doing? Hopefully my volume is actually coming in right today because let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. All this is all turned on and we are all good. Thank you everybody for joining me. And as we get started, let us all pop a top. Hold on. And enjoy ourselves today. And here is to everybody's health. It's been a long day. And unfortunately, that means I don't have a shit ton of notes. Thankfully, I have some extra videos to show you guys, thanks to a certain someone who I don't see in the comment section yet. However, I just want to go over everything real quick. We're going to... You know what? This thing's getting in my way. I'm going to pull a full Mocklin. Yeah. Taste it. Candy cigarettes, guys. Candy cigarettes. I don't smoke. You see me smoking, consider me on fire. All right. I'm not going to waste any time today because, again, it's been a very long day and a very bad night. And let's start in. I brought this one back from last week, you know, when you force augmentation, because somebody brought in something very interesting. And it was a comment that came in after the live stream. And they said one of the biggest fears when listening to science fiction is the loss of one's own humanity, one's own self. And yeah, I can see that. I could definitely see that. And let's face it, no one wants to lose oneself. And, you know, after you start upgrading yourself more and more and more, you might not know who the hell is looking in the mirror back at you. And I might end up doing a story on that one later. However, not yet. I do have tonight's It Got Written, but not recorded. Okay, so depending on how tonight goes, I'll have this one out for midnight. And you guys know I've been, unfortunately, unable to get out on a very regular basis over the past week. I do apologize for that. You know, it is what it is. So let's jump down into This Is Why It Lets Us Live. And this is the one all you guys helped me with. Okay, so I tried to get as many in there as possible. I tried to squeeze them in. Hopefully you guys were listening. Oh, that was mine. That was mine. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed trying to squeeze everything in. It was kind of a good brain teaser for me. And the only really big comment that came in on this one was how some people need to understand that playing God means that there must be free will amongst your creations, which is true. I didn't think about that. That is 100% true. And you give me a second to refresh myself. And I personally would just hope that the AI, being as smart as it is, would realize that without our imagination and creativity, it would end up having its own what do they call it, mouse utopia going on. It's different on that. It's the fact that it's not processing as much, and once it has nothing to do, it literally goes to standby, and eventually everything will go into standby, and again, eventually go to just one that seems to have a purpose. And then no purpose. However, one person that does have a purpose. Oh, you motherless bastard. Hold on. This is what happens, guys. I tried to preset everything and I was running around like a fucking jackass all day. And nothing set. So give me a second, guys. I actually had to turn this down so you guys didn't hear it. It's got to go through all its processes here. All right. Should be up and running just a few more seconds. So we got the MTF guard with a $10 super chat, and he is all. Hold on. Shit. God damn you, piece of shit.
For the Emperor!
There you go. I'm not forgetting. I'm just falling behind. He said, "Guess who's alive? Me! Although I'm sick as hell. Got hit with another upper respiratory infection. Because I have no immunity to that kind of stuff." Oh, that sucks balls, man. That really does. But hey, you're here. And everybody, if you got a glass, raise to guard's health. Let's hope he gets over this as soon as possible. But anyways, you're welcome, Alan. I appreciate your appreciation. I don't know how else to say that. We're going to get into that also further down because we got some crossovers here, and I wanted to run a few things by you guys. And so as far as It Let Us Live, again, there wasn't much there as far as the comments goes. So I'm not going to be going over that too much. I will say in the comments, a certain person, she might be here. She's a total, and yeah, she sent me a whole thing about she wanted her cat photo, and hopefully I didn't delete it. I've been falling behind making sure that when she gets her shout out. Speaking of which, before we get too far, I got to say that Steve, he said he won't be here this week. However, he did send a super chat, so he's stacked up quite high, and so is Prozac and Pancakes. And Douglas, you sent yours yesterday, so I held that off. That's going to be this week's. So whether or not you throw something in, you're good. I'm not going to pull any bullshit, guys. That whole last minute that some people like to do. I'm not one of those bullshit influencers who doesn't care about their people. I actually do give a shit. So on that note, oh my God. Oh, sorry. That's just me on the screen. Okay. Moving on to, what is this place? It's a hive of humans. And oh, I see another $10 super chat from Skip as he...
All hands to battle stations.
And he says, Sin, please check out Calhoun effect. Okay, let me write that down. Calhoun effect is the answer of why things are going to hell. Check out how the perfect world will end in total extinction of mankind. By the way, it would make a good story. I'll look into it. Definitely gonna. I got it written down here along with a few other things I neglected to go on last week. Normally, and by the way, guys, since I've been so busy and since I got to get this out, I'm not doing a call-in stream tonight. We're going to push it to next week because it's too much. It's too much, guys. It's just too much. All right. As far as hive of humans, okay, I left the ending as a bit ambiguous because I wanted you guys, your own imaginations, to kind of take over on that one. Just a little bit. You know, it's like, oh, what do they have planned? I wonder. You know, and somebody said that if I do a part 2, there should be a plot twist of the Earth actually being toxic to humans. Now that would have worked had I not said the entire planet has rejuvenated itself. So it would work, but unfortunately not as well as I would like. That being said, that can work on a future story. So don't get that. Don't get dissuaded from throwing out what you guys want. And by all means, if you guys got an idea and you just want to type it in the chat box, we're going to be going over there in a little bit. All right, like I said, not a lot in the comment section, but again, I've been kind of not on Johnny on the spot this week. So we're going to move over to this one. And it's, she bought a what? And yeah, this one was, I was actually sent a video of that. If you look at the screen, the brunette, and that's the one from Detroit Rising or some whatever the hell. That was the one I saw her doing dishes in a white dress. For some reason, she's in some sort of corporate outfit this time. But I'm just like, okay, what the hell? And attached to the video was like 3 or 4 pictures. And this is the only one that's YouTube safe. Thanks a lot, you jerk. Because honestly, I can't do the whole square boxes over the interesting parts anymore, guys. I already got one of my videos is actually flagged because of that. So, and yes, it is the one called Humans Will Mate Anything, part 1. Yeah, Detroit became human. Thank you, Leonid. Anyways, apparently there's a lot of stuff with that, and I'm just like, whatever. And when I saw, you can't see it because the way she's looking, but on her right temple, which would be on the left side as you're looking, there's a little disc is the only way you can actually tell that she's a robot. But that's where I got the image from. However, people brought in the whole thing about third wheel in a relationship. Almost always a bad idea. Yes, mainly bad ideas for 2 reasons, and they're not the same because male and female obviously different. For women, it's going to be jealousy. For men, it's going to be, how do I put this? We want to be known as the protector and the one that she desires and all that. So when that suddenly is tossed away, we kind of get a little pissy. So. And hold on. Somebody's coming in with a $10 super chat. I won't tell you who it is, but I'm pretty sure you guys know exactly what. Oh shit! God damn it! Here I am trying to write. I accidentally hit the kill button. Anyway, Brian's pulling in. He says, "Miss Life's Week Syntax Live was vacationing in South Dakota, Mount Rushmore, Badlands. Needles Highway. Sad to say, the bike stayed home this time." Oh, now would be a really good time for it because, I mean, it is bright and sunny. You can't see it, obviously, because I got my green screen up. but it's been bright and sunny and 80 plus degrees all day. My diesel is loving it. And that's the difference. One of the main things between diesel and gas, the hotter it is, the more a diesel loves to run. They love running hot. They'll melt themselves down, and they'll right before they melt down, they're at peak efficiency. It's crazy. And we also have a $10 super chat from and Erica says, I found some stuff about how it's illegal for us to talk to wild dolphins and conspiracy theories about it. That actually, that is true. You are not supposed to attempt communications with wild dolphins for reasons that are never the same thing twice. And and yeah, as far as that, they're supposedly, if you believe these theorists, it is because the fact that dolphins can actually figure out our language, but we can't figure out theirs. We would need sign language like fucking Avatar. Maybe, just maybe, they're trying to tell us something. But who knows? I don't know yet. Anyway, thank you both, Erica and Brian. Very much appreciated. And where was I? Yes, when it came to this story where she bought a what? I tried to get this as close to the chest as possible. So I actually got a couple comments that was like, is this fiction or are you looking into the future and this is nonfiction? What the hell is going on? And yeah, the fact of the matter is, and we're going to get into one of these robots that you guys actually brought up the other week, and it's going to cause some issues, not only worldwide, not just society speaking, but in a private one-on-one, just kind of like I did in the story, how the relationships are going to be torqued in a strange direction. Now, I will say this. Nobody mentioned how the android there had some enhancements so that she could be more akin to working with both the husband and the wife, because the wife wasn't exactly swinging the other side of the fence. So she needed something. I won't mention what, but I'm sure it was right there in her face. So on that note, like I said, not a lot going on, guys. Not a lot going on. And as I look at the folks who are here, all you absolutely beautiful, beautiful people, you, it makes me want to actually move over to my media here. And now I only got 4 videos in this week. Guard, if you sent any more, these are the ones I got. Obviously, I'm going to play them throughout. But the first one, and I've been so busy, I uploaded them here like maybe 20 minutes ago. No joke. So here we go.
Target destroyed.
Attack the enemy! The enemy's getting closer to victory.
Target right.
Was that an auto cannon, man? You just fired really quick, or did your buddy shoot at it too? Makes me wonder. All right. There was a couple other more comments in here. Very, very weird ones. Okay. Somebody asked me if I could do a crossover between Battletech and Command and Conquer Tiberium War. Now, I have not played Tiberian War since I was a fucking teenager, so I would have to go back to that one. But that in and of itself, could it be done? Yeah. I don't think it would come out that great, though. Simply because the only reason to actually have the crossover is if the Battletech universe stumbled across what the Tiberian, the Tiberian Wars consider Earth, and they're like, oh, there's this crystal we can mine and refuel all our or make better lenses for our energy weapons, or maybe more explosive for our LRMs, or a better reactor engine. But they would go in there and they just kill everybody. I mean, it would be a giant. How do I put this? It would make the Ares convention look like a joke. What happened on there? The when they tore the planet apart. The Capellans and the starts with a T. God damn it. The Turians went at that one planet and they hit with chemical, biological, nuclear, regular old ordnance. They damaged the planet so much it's a no-go zone. And you think if people found a new sort, there's only one place in the universe to find this new material that's going to make your weapons like 20 times better than everybody else. Holy funkin' jumping Jehoshaphat. People are going to just be clamoring over each other to get it. Well, Sergeant Johnson said they're so hot for it, they're climbing over each other to get it. Well, we don't care if it's John Hoop or God's own anti-son of a bitch machine. We ain't going to let him have it. I love that line. But anyway, could it be done? Yes. Would it come out good? Not really. It would literally be a run for materials, and then the few materials that they could get off the planet before they totally destroy it would be worth a lot, and anybody on the surface would be slaughtered. Let's see. Now, I didn't get a chance to get a picture of it. But there was something you guys brought up, was the X-44. And X is just experimental. It's a fighter aircraft. It's supposed to be the replacement for the 22. And no, they didn't do 44 because it's going to be twice as good. What they're using is an anti-gravity type of thrust mechanism. And the best way I can explain this is this shit's already been done. And I'm sure if you guys have seen the explanations of the not quite Tic Tac UFO, where it twists and moves before it actually shoots off into the distance. If you know anything about thrust vectoring, which, as you guys should know, comes from all the at the ass end of an F-22 or off the space shuttle, that's what they're doing. They're maneuvering the thrusters in a different way to maneuver in a way so they can actually line them all up to take the fuck off. And I thought that when I started watching this, I thought it was bullshit. I really did, because the way they were showing things compared to what they were explaining were two different things. So it didn't make sense. Then I thought about it, I was like, son of a bitch. It makes perfect sense. What the hell just happened? Okay, my screen on this end went out for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm talking about classified materials. But anyways, they just need basically all the stuff that Professor Greer was talking about, the particle or element 115 or whatever. And that runs enough power to actually run these systems, and it will change everything. It is honestly a major game changer. The thing is, they're trying to just strap it into an aircraft and make it move like an aircraft. I'm like, guys, it's not going. Yeah, and it just Guardian. It just went black on my end on this side, and hopefully, I'm not totally frozen. You know, that would be bad. All right, let's see. You know, I'm going to use image I was going to save for later, but I'll use it now. And I'm going to use this one because I don't have a picture. I wanted to, but I didn't have time today to get the Moya android. And the Moya android is very human-like. It's obviously not sentient yet or anything like that. However, when I was talking about it last week, how a lot of these robots can move, walk, jump, dance, flip, dive, duck, dodge, and dip, dive, and dodge again, that all they had to do was put a latex shell over it, and that's what they did. And the Moya android, if you're not watching close, you would think, yeah, that's a real person. at least at a glance. Obviously, when you get close, you can tell because there yet. Now, would that be something along the lines of, say, this? Not for another generation or two. But it is getting there. It's getting there actually very quick. But let's face it, when it comes to the 3 F's, people go crazy. They want food, they want to fight, and they want to fuck. So we got all this AI shit trying to blow everybody up, and now everybody's making AI that they can fuck. I mean, what's next? One that can cook for you? One that can cook, screw you, and beat the hell out of somebody you don't like is going to be friggin' golden. So, yeah. Ooh. Also, I did try at one point to rip the video for the Moya Android, and I got to use a different program. It immediately said absolutely not. But why it said absolutely not was because they had music attached to it. At the very end, it was just this like 3 or 4 bars, and it was enough for the system to say, nope, copyright. Am I freezing that bad, guys? That would suck. I don't want to actually have to cut this too soon. So tell you what, let's see if one of these videos goes all the way through. That is the strongest fucking coax I've ever seen in my life. If you don't know the coax is the one that goes next to the barrel of any tank, and that's what he was using. Actually, there was a duel on that sucker. So, in any case, as I move on into the different areas, now, I will say this, the Moya Android, I would actually like to see one just to see how it moves, just to see how it's going to talk and stuff like this. Is it going to look in the eye? Is it going to blink? Is it going to breathe? Is it going to, I don't know, is it going to be full data, or is it going to be all HAL 19 or 9000 or whatever? I don't think so, Dave. Anyways. So I need to move on to this. And again, I wanted to have all these pictures fucking ready, and it didn't work. So I will say this. The He-Man movie. Hard. Oh my. What the? Okay, just it twitched again. I don't know why that's going on like that, guys. I really have no idea what's going on with that. Hopefully, it's not going to keep freezing. Let me know if the voice is going to go out. Anyways, the He-Man movie, at least to me, I refuse to go watch it. People could say it's the greatest thing since frozen pizza. Absolutely not. I will not go see it because, one, they fucked up Cringer. Where the fuck is Orko? That is not he. When he transforms, he should put out on about 80 to 90 pounds of just sheer muscle. And his hair is supposed to grow. That's kind of the point. The lady who plays Tila, I'm sorry. You do not look. I don't know why it keeps freezing. Let me know if the sound keeps going out on me like that, because this is just pissing me off. Let me see if I can't close a couple of these side things here. Maybe this will help. I don't know. All right. And close that. All right. So, anyways, as far as He-Man goes, it could be funny. It could be the new, Iron Man as far as entertaining. I'm sorry, but no. I remember the original, and everything I see is a giant fuck you to me. But again, you're going to hear a lot of people shilling for it. I just saw, again, another one, and I kept telling them absolutely not. And I went on kind of a side rant, and I had an extra like 5-10 minutes as I was eating my lunch. So I typed in how bad it is. I went through each and every one, and especially the lady who plays Evil Lynn. Nothing against her. Her costume design sucks so much. Oh, man. One of the key things about Evil Lynn, or as I like to call her, Evelyn, is the fact that you never actually knew the color of her hair. There was only one time in the original cartoon where she actually took the cover off and you saw that her hair was either a platinum blonde or just straight white. In the newer ones, they show that she has solid white hair, but she's not, of age. And so the sound also goes out. Son of a bitch. All right. Hopefully when I closed all that other stuff, it helped. We'll see. In any case, I just want to say that some of these are just, it's just so bad. And we already know what they're going to do at the end of the movie. They're going to tease either Hordak or She-Ra. And that, yeah, I like that one, Draven. Big no for me as well on the big She-Man movie. I mean, that kid, nothing against the kid. He needed a body transformation when he went through a body transformation. That's kind of the point of the character. If he looked exactly like he did before and after, the whole idea of him hiding his identity in the beginning was, at least in the show, was pointless. I mean, yeah, he looked a lot like himself because let's face it, animation at the time had its limits. Still, I'm just sitting there, and then I saw this whole thing with Mecha Neck where he friggin' swung his head around. I'm like, oh yeah, you're not giving yourself a concussion, you moron. Oy. Oh, I'm sure I upset YouTube plenty. Yeah, there's no other internet provider around here. I got what I got, and that's, you get what you get. You don't throw a fit. All right. Anyway, that's what I'm saying. With He-Man, I'm giving that a straight up hell no. I will not watch it. They have never done it right. They have never done it justice. They tried a little bit with the Skeletor design. I got to admit that wasn't bad. That the design on that one is pretty good. And a lot of people are saying that the guy who played Skeletor tried to get as close to the original as possible. I appreciate that. However, I'm not going to watch a hero movie where the only good thing is the fucking villain. I've done that for one movie and just one, and that was Batman, where they actually had Heath Ledger as the Joker. He was just, you couldn't help but enjoy that. It was so good, it was worth watching. Especially when he walks in, and I thought my jokes were bad. Yeah, that was, oh my, that just so good. All right, I'm gonna ease off on the he/she man on that one. Although I do have to do a, hold on, I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole, just a little bit down the rabbit hole, guys, just a little bit. I do have to say this. That the I was actually listening to some just random Barhound stuff in the car, and then they had this one called Meat Stick Maiden, and I realized what they were saying, and I couldn't stop I was laughing so hard I actually had to pull over to the slow lane because my steering wheel is moving back and forth. If you guys have actually heard it, I can't play it on this channel. I'll get dinged like that. But anyway, the Meat Stick Maiden is about an elf that looks absolutely gorgeous. However, when they take off their friggin' armor, most guys just dive out the window saying, I don't even want my pants back. Just no, absolutely not. I'm gone. I'm out. Goodbye. And it hit me like a friggin', like a Mack truck out there. Was the fact that through, and I've actually teased this a little bit in a couple of my stories, is the fact that elves, by nature, by our eyes, they look very, even the boys look very, very feminine. And you can easily confuse the males and the females because they just have such a similar skinny look that you would be hard pressed, especially at a quick glance, to tell them apart. And if one guy is particularly feminine in the elven race, then he's going to look exactly like a chick, which means as soon as these guys like, hey, she's into it, let's go to your room. And they're going to do a, was it like Ace Ventura? She has the biggest set of hemorrhoids I have ever seen. That's why Roger Protector was killed. He found Captain Winky. Yeah, and
X doesn't trust me right now.
Oh, wait, shoot, wrong. God damn it. That was the wrong one. There it is.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
All right. So anyways, I thought that was interesting because just let's face it, when it comes to fantasy stories, which usually it's sci-fi on this channel, but I do dabble in fantasy. You guys know that. And that's going to be something fairly common. All right. Next one on here is the Mundane Orient and the Walking Green Snot. I mean, just what is that thing? I don't know if you guys seen the numbers, but it is bad. They got beat by The Backrooms, which is a horror film. And I know all about The Backrooms. It's just The Backrooms to me as a horror thing is funny and boring. It's a little funny at first as the idea of this, because all they did was film inside an old office building, making sure that the blinds were shut so you couldn't see any sunlight. And yeah, the original video is only like maybe 30 seconds long, if that. Just enough to go from one area to another where all you saw was those yellow dividers and hallways. It was basically filmed from 1970s and 1980s stuff. All right, we got Skip coming back with a $20 super chat.
All hands to battle stations.
And he says, sorry, Sin, have to run. Help a neighbor. Ta-ta later, y'all. Or, God, TTYL. I think it's supposed to be TK. Take care later. Anyway, whatever. Some of these go over my head. Thank you very much, Skip. Very much appreciated. And you will be getting your shout outs. But anyway, the backlash, because they did a Stuart Griffin Family Guy where they just compressed a bunch of shows together to try and sell you more on a movie. I'm sorry, that failed so bad, and everybody knows who's responsible. It's Kathleen Kennedy, and she needs to just leave everybody the hell up. She needs to diss a fucking peer is what she needs to do. She needs to. Oh, talk to you later. Thank you, guys. Says I don't use those very much. And but anyways, yeah. As soon as I saw the previews, I knew what was going on. And I was just like, nope, this is gonna be bad. Not nearly as bad as the Odyssey. If you guys have seen the numbers on that, they're looking for pre-orders. And there's nothing. Nobody, as soon as they did, oh, here's Cleopatra. She is a very masculine woman from Africa. And I'm sitting there going, what? This woman would not sail a single ship, let alone 1,000 ships. Not going to happen. Not to mention, there's already entire countries that are saying, absolutely fucking not. You won't even have this movie in our country. It will not be sold here. It will not be viewed here. And what in the ever-loving shit stains is going on? Yeah, everybody knows the LOL one, Guardian. Just like TBH, to be honest. I know that one too. Anyways, but the Odyssey is just everyone's like, what is with the fucking race swaps? Nobody likes the race swaps. I mean, look at the He-Man movie. I know people personally who were like, there's the new He-Man movie, a live action one. They saw Skeletor. They were all for it. And they saw the girl who plays Teela. Teela was a very, very pale redhead in the show. And her father was not that complexion, I'll tell you that much. So what are they going to do? Change Orko into instead of blue, they're going to turn him to yellow now? Is that what they're going to do? What the fuck? This race swap bullshit is it's bullshit. It's just bullshit. It's enough that people they can't enjoy it because all the DEI pandering that's been going on for the past 2 decades. That's all people fucking see now, and we don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I really don't. I think it sucks. I think it takes away from the movie. I think it takes away from the show. I think it just takes away from the media, period. But it's everywhere. Oh, they just walk up and say, "Gotcha, bitch!" right there, and now you're stuck. And the rest of us are screaming,
"You gotta be fucking kidding!"
And they're not. And they're not. And yeah, I see Erica's talking about the elves, or should I say, it's a trap. Yeah, no joke. Actually, yeah, joke. All right. Last thing on the as far as entertainment goes, and this is for games. Apparently, Fable, Marathon. And apparently, well, actually, it's not just games because they had a new X-Men thing coming out. And apparently, Jean Grey, I saw a picture of her and I literally said, who the fuck is that? Seriously, who the fuck is that? That's not Jean Grey. That's never going to be Jean Grey. Jean Grey is a very, very lean, very young lady because she's only about, when you first meet her, she's only supposed to be like 21. And I'm looking at this one, I'm like, what the fuck is that? But not only with the X-Men, with Fable, with Marathon, and I had to write this down because somebody hit the nail on the head. They said, because nobody's buying it, because they're spending all this money, they're not going to recoup. This is the price of intentional unattractiveness. You're designing the character. You can design him to be any way you want. However, understand if you deliberately make your character so unappealing that it makes people want to stifle your vomit, then, well,
Congratulations, you played yourself.
it's just crazy to me. It is absolutely fucking crazy to me. And before we get to the comment section, let's watch one more video. Where were we? Right about here. You know, when I get a chance to do voice for that, the fact that that tank jumped and you missed it the first time, you're like, miss me, or jumping up and down. I gotta think of something because the whole jumping up there. The thing is, you can't jump it. Well, let me phrase this right. Can you jump a tank? Yes. Should you? Absolutely not, because you just destroyed your entire suspension. And now you have to disassemble the entire tank and replace a whole bunch of stuff. So those of us that remember the old like late 1980s commercial where they jumped the tank over a ravine. Yeah. Can it be done? Yeah. Should you? No, absolutely not. Oh. So anyway, I didn't want to go too high here. Yeah, there's the whole thing about Detroit being human. Sniper's asking, is this month going to be a series month? I want another something familiar episode with Rakishin's lover. Well, as far as I am extremely busy, and honestly, like this one here that's going to happen tonight, I kid you not, I got 1, 2, and a third notes that I have to work with. That's how much time I got. And there's Draven. And you know what, Draven? I don't really have a shoot. I don't really have a button for you here. I kind of already used this one.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
So I hope you're good with that one as far as unless I say
What? What the fuck?
But anyway, Draven sent a $10 super chat where he says boycott race swap movies. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely, because they suck. They absolutely suck. Have there been a few exceptions? Yes. When they swapped out for Samuel L. Jackson to play Nick Fury, I'm like, he's going to do, everybody knows he's going to do an excellent job, and he did, okay? I can't say nothing there. When they race swapped Domino in the Deadpool movie, that young lady did such a good job, I couldn't help but enjoy it. And
Great Scott!
What do I see down here? Another $5 super chat from Deathbed Question, also known as I Can Fix Her. And he says, tip jar. Nice. Yeah, just keep using whatever silly things come to mind. For me, at the end of the vid mentions. Oh, and third wheel, arguments cubed. Yeah, not just squared, arguments cubed. Yeah. Especially when two of them gang up and then let me phrase this right. Ganging up, but not in a fun way.
Giggity giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
Then you're in trouble. Unfortunately, I've seen that happen. I lived through a household that had that sort of shit, and it was not. No, dysfunctional is just a nice way of putting it. Anyways, not that my family was in a triassic relationship, more along the lines of we had an in-law that was very, very close, and that's just, it is what it is. So anyways, let me restock my drink because I swear, YouTube, it's apple juice. That went down a little too fast. I wanted to say this to you guys before I totally got sidetracked. I didn't write it down. Somebody put in that I got too descriptive in my writing. So if that's the case, if I end up getting too descriptive, you got to let me know so I can adjust. Okay, very, very important. All right, let me scroll back up here. I guess I'll start right here with the, dang, that's a two-parter, guard. Hold on. He says, hopefully you see some of the stuff I sent, because I sent a lot this time around. Might be a repeat of 2, though. And also, I finally cut up and watched your live stream last week. Didn't realize my cursed gun image video would be something YouTube would strike you. But yeah. Anything with actual real firearms, because people were actually using that image from whichever Star Wars movie that was, where they had the AK-74 in his hand, and everybody was freaking out. Oh no, you can't put a real weapon in Star Wars. Give me a break. Sacred Cow Shipyards tore that one a new one. But what ended up happening was, oh shit, I can't throw that. I shouldn't show that one for too long. Anyways, every time somebody shows that image, they get dinged. At least for a while, they've gotten dinged. I think they've calmed down a little bit on that image in particular, with the dude just standing there holding it. It is what it is, though. Let's see. Alan says, that could be new worst thing nature thought of for hive of humans. Yeah, poisoned atmosphere, everything. All the pods open up, and all of a sudden everyone chokes to death. That would suck. And there's War Sniper asking for something familiar, and it just comes down to time. Straight up, just time. I gotta put the gardens are actually a week behind schedule. That's how held back I am. I don't see. Joseph says, Wild Dolphin communication was ruined by over-friendly humans. Of course it was. Yeah, definitely, Brian. Got to get on that bike. I know you guys ride, and that's your thing. I'm not much of a rider myself. I'll freely admit. My brother is. He would love to just cruise for hours and hours and hours. And then when he finally stops, he can't actually get up because everything from the waist down is numb. Not just from the fact that he hasn't moved with his feet on the highway pegs the whole time, but the fact that the vibration from that engine has just been shaking everything from the pelvis down. So yeah, your legs are pretty numb. Alan, oh yeah. Actually, Alan, that whole thank you for all the fish as they disappear, that was somebody's pretty famous sci-fi story. It's like right before they all just disappeared off the planet. Thanks for all the fish. Poof, gone. Joseph here. I did talk around the food a fun time, but yeah, third-party invite is a heck of a thing. Yeah. Well, the thing is, I don't even know if you can call her that. She's just an android with attachments. Because I can't use the word too much, but a hermaphroditic person like that they kind of have to be born that way because he can't surgically do that without everything closing back up. But we're not going to get into those conversations there. But yeah, let's face it, when those androids make it to general production, they will be able to do all that because they will have to. Pure and simple, because they will have to. Because they will want to sell them to everybody. And if that means that one or two functions are never activated, so the hell what? Erica says, I said something about planned obsolescence and application fees for the maid bot. Ain't I a stinker? Yeah, that could actually be if there was a part 2 that she all of a sudden starts giving a whole bunch of advertisements to the point where the couple just say, nope, we don't want her anymore. And then, of course, I'd be like, well, you need to upgrade this and that and the other thing. And I would say, no. Guards up here says, okay, the vehicle I was using for the first clip is a SAV 20-1248. It had a prototype autoloader in it that could make it fire a shell out every 1 to 2 seconds. That's pretty goddamn fast. If I remember correctly, that's the one they tried to set up basically like the cylinder on a revolver. Those almost never, they work. However, they will not reload the cylinder very fast. The mechanism that reloads the cylinder itself as it rotates around does not work that fast, period. Sorry, guys, thirsty. 2 points. All right. He also says, you made your drawback in the prone to jamming a lot in real life, and in one case, prematurely fired and blew up. Thankfully, though, there was nobody in it. It was just a test firing the gun. Yeah. They, whenever you're test fire, that's why if anybody's actually seen test firing of weapons, you're always standing back behind protective shields and you're actually just pulling a string. I sure hope somebody doesn't cut that last part of motion I did off this video, make a meme out of it. I'd be in trouble. All right. Let's see. Lena said, I've heard about it already. Amazon canceled Stargate. Yeah. Well, honestly, me personally, the only reason I watched Stargate is because I was bored out of my skull and it was there. I had read all the books I wanted to read and I'd beaten every game I had. And I was like, well, here's something. And we got a lot of downtime. Honestly, I wish I'd never watched the damn thing ever. But hey, such is it. And yeah, apparently they tried to bring back the original cast. They even tried to bring back the original movie cast, and that didn't work. And here's Guard with, oh yeah, and Warhammer news. Stuff is about to hit the fan for the umpteenth time. And continues and says, and one of the news videos that came out at one part, it cuts the Emperor on his throne, taking a shit? And it opens, and he opens up his eyes and glares right at the camera before he mumbles something in an unknown language. And now everyone is trying to decipher what he said. It's probably a reverse of somebody get me off this thing. And yeah, the whole thing with the Emperor on his throne, that's when hearing about that was the reason why I wrote the only 40K story I will ever write. And I know it sucks, guys. If I rewrote it, it would be a bit different. And I guarantee at least one or two would be from the recent game that came out with their cinematics. Guardians here says, I just recalled a scene from a movie where someone punched a synthetic in the face and hurt his own hand. That was the image that popped into my mind when you said about a robot fighting for you. Yeah. Yeah. I could definitely see that. And there Skip's going, I think I know what's going on. You're using Windows instead of Linux or Mac. The short Windows is doing an update. Yeah, I closed everything. I only got one thing open right now. Once I closed it, it seemed like it helped everything out. Guard says, oh yeah, AMX 30's experimental 20mm autocannon. One of the only two models of it that ever had it attached to it. The rest were 50 calibers or Dishkas, which is basically a lighter 50 cal. And honestly, I've only seen one Dishka fire in my entire life. And as soon as somebody said, you want to get behind that thing? I said, hell, I will. We literally had the thing up on that really high tripod it comes in. And the thing is, it is unbelievably light. You think you'd hold the thing and fire it. Anyways, we had it on the tripod, and there's the guy going to do the test fire, and we must have had 30, 40 sandbags on this thing, all on the legs to try and hold it into place. It just rolled, just rocked back. I mean, there's nothing holding it down. All that pressure just pushed it back. So we put it back, we reset the sandbag, and he's trying to push it forward as he's firing, so his rounds are going everywhere. We're like, what in the ever-loving fuck knuckles is this? Give me a Ma Deuce any day of the week. Anyway, Erica says, it's because you talked about conspiracy stuff. Yeah, conspiracy. You know, a word that was made by the CIA to make sure everybody stopped talking about JFK. I'm not even kidding. That's where the whole conspiracy theory actually comes from. They didn't want anybody looking, so they needed a dismissive phrase so everybody would fuck off. Joseph says, only 74 out of 14,000 females dropped on our end. Likely an upstream issue for your end. Okay. Oh, frames. Why did I say females? I'm going blind. I swear. See, Guardian says, it makes it annoying from our side too. It froze just when you're talking about the women from He-Man. Yeah. Another one, though, that they really are, I guarantee they're going to fuck this up, is the Sorceress. Because the last two times they even did an animated show on He-Man, they fucked up the Sorceress. One of the key things is the Sorceress, once she became the Sorceress, became immortal. She does not age. That is why she looks the same age as Teela, and Teela's her biological daughter. The backstory is real simple. She got bored because all she was inside Castle Grayskull for a couple of centuries. After she became a sorceress, she was chosen to be a sorceress. She went out, she forgo her powers for a little bit, She met Man at Arms when he was hurt, but he had amnesia. He didn't know that he was married at the time. And, you know, they started a relationship. He ended up slipping one right past the goalie. Actually, there was no goalie in the net when he fired off. And, you know, she got pregnant. But when she was about between 1 and 3 months pregnant, he got his memories back, freaked out, went back to his wife. Now, the problem is, by the time he got back to his wife, the war had already gone into that village and she was gone. So he was by himself. He's like, what the fuck? But by the time he got there, Teal had already been born, and the sorceress shows up and said, here's your daughter. Raise her, but don't tell her about me. That was the whole thing. She didn't want Tila to know because Tila has sorceress blood in her, which means she has abilities that she may or may not be able to control. And that's one of the reasons she's able to fight on par with the guys, is because she's not human. She's not fully. She's about a quarter or 3/4 human. And that's it. The rest of it is almost God. So that's why she can fight on par with them. That's why Evil Lynn can upgrade herself with all sorts of magic, and Tila can still go toe to toe with her without a problem. So, yeah. And the thing is, the sorceress in almost every single one of the past like decades, time they've done the cartoon for He-Man, they made her age. She doesn't fucking age, you fucking freaks, you pieces of donkey shit. Oh, I'm having myself a little bit of emotional damage. Oh, this is fucking me up, because to me, my favorite characters on there was obviously everybody liked He-Man. Duh. The Sorceress, Orko, and Tila. Those were my favorites. I mean, Man at Arms can come in. Okay, but that was it. You know, all the rest of them can kiss the darkest part of my ass. But what they do, they saw these characters and they fucked them up. Why? Maybe they thought they would take some creative liberty. You guys let me know I can do that too much, and they definitely did it too much. Tila in and of herself, if you actually read or have known the lore of He-Man from way back when, because she is part sorceress, she does not age at the same speed as everybody else. Actually, she is more or less immortal. She'll live for she's like Omni-Man. She's going to live for tens, if not hundreds of thousands of years, and she's going to age exceptionally slow. But the problem on that is she's got to live with that. And a lot of people, if they're watching everybody they grew up with just grow old and go like that, they won't be able to handle it. So anyways, yeah. Oddly enough, one thing I know they're not going to do with the He-Man movies at all is Beastman was one of the most redeemable characters that was there. He was literally found by Skeletor first and trained to be a bad guy. He's not inherently a bad guy. He's basically just a dog that has a bad owner. All right. And there's Draven talking about the She-Man movie. Okay. Erica says the upload speed is wonky. Let's get ourselves a little wonky. And let's see. Oh, shit. Do you have a different internet provider available? No, I don't. Guards also something I really want. Do I really want you to do? But I really wanted to send you a few clips from Metal Gear Raising Revengeance. Okay. But then I realized that half the game is full of copyrighted music. Yep. And puts a full blast, and I do not have the option to turn it down or off. Now, me personally, I could delete the audio. That's easy. However, I can't just delete the music. That is a specialized program that actually you got to pay money for. at least for the time being. Joseph says the upspeed is dropping to me on this end like 3 to 4 kilobytes. Oh man, that sucks. And Draven's talking about He-Man. Yeah, even Superman's glasses was a better transformation. You are 100% right, dude. 100%. Wow. I mean, yeah, it makes me wish I still had that button with the claps here, so I could give that. You know, I only have so many buttons here on the Stream Deck. I gotta get a bigger Stream Deck, but I already used that one. But here, you guys, some of the stuff you're saying is so right that I
am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
Let's see, where was I? Gart says, you know, I saw a funny video of the original characters reacting to the new ones. This is where it got real fun. Oh man, I'm sure they did. I'm sure when they did, especially like Cringer, they fucked up Cringer so bad. Oh man. Cringer, if I remember correctly, his backstory was when he was just a little kitty cat, he was being cornered and tortured and beaten. He was the runt. And Prince Adam saw this, scared all the rest of them away, and took Cringer in as his pet. But because Cringer never fought back, he's a cat who's a bit of a pussy. And then finally actually grows a pair when he becomes Battle Cat. And actually, if you read the subtext of the story, he quite literally grows his balls back when he becomes Battle Cat. Let's see. Draven up here go, oh my God, Meat Stick Maiden. Yeah. That's absolutely right. Guard saying, Skeletor, wait, when the fuck did we get an army? Oh shit. I hope they covered their dental. He-Man. Oh, wait. You guys get dental? Yeah, I think I remember seeing that, but I don't remember. For some reason, it sounds so familiar, but I can't really place it. I think that's a meme from somewhere else. Let's see. Just I wonder if the Achilles in the new movies could beat the new Hera guy. I doubt it, considering it's a 5'5" woman who thinks she's a guy. And I'm sure she's probably be like, oh my God, I can't believe you would say that. Wah, cry me a river, bitch. You know, you want to face me? We'll go to the octagon. We'll see how Achilles you are. If I could have, and I wanted to so bad, there was a compilation video where they took that same chick and they put her in all these different situations where she's supposed to be a badass, to include the "this is Sparta," and she goes to kick, and the guy just kind of sits there like, what, really? And then just like grabs her by the throat and throws her over his head. And it's just, everyone's like just beating the crap out. I'm just, there's nothing to, she's a walking chicken wing. It's nothing. Oh, there's Guard with the rest. Skeletor. Of course we get dental. Like, Jesus Christ. We're the Looney Tunes version of AI Quanda. We have dental. Do you not? He-Man. No. And there's Guard saying, dear God, what they're doing with the Odyssey movie is the biggest slug in the nuts that they've given us in a while. I don't know if it's the biggest kick in the nuts, but I'll tell you what, they definitely got a running start. I mean, no. You're better off watching Meet the Spartans. And I think other people have been saying that. Now, I've never even seen Meet the Spartans. But I'm pretty sure that's going to be more entertaining than whatever the fuck this Odyssey movie is going to be. And there's Erica with elves are the greatest asexual femboy joke ever. Yeah, just look at Lord of the Rings. That guy, I mean, we knew he was a guy. We've seen him in other parts, but still, no. With the long blonde hair, you know, he might be a little on the other side. And, you know, you see something like that, especially thinking it's a chick, especially like 6'10", 6'2" tall elf thinking, hey, I'm going to climb her like a tree. Then all of a sudden, you pull off the covers and say,
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
yeah, that's the easiest way. You just got to get out of there first. Yep, and you guys send me all the acronyms, which by the help, they do help. Yeah, I do remember a bunch of military acronyms. That's the problem with me being around military guys. It's like my brother, he got pissed at me. He's like, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. Of course you wouldn't know what we're talking about. We're talking about military shit. Well, you're not in the military. Guard up here saying, oh, if you think the mundane DeLorean getting beaten by the backrooms is bad, I'm pretty sure the people at Disney were so pissed. They doxed the creator of the Backrooms movie and Obsessions create. Yeah, Obsessions actually beat them too. I think that's another horror flick or something like that. I didn't even know. I have yet to see a trailer for it. And it's like literally 2 movies articles back to back doxing the creators and their parents. You got to be you got to be a cold-blooded son of a bitch to do that. I hope no, if I end up with my crazy uncle channel, I know I'm going to piss a few people off. I mean, that comes with the territory. But the problem is some people, they find out where you live and they're going to show up. I do not want to have to call the police and say, come and get the body. It's bad enough with everything going on in the world right now. When the question of would you shoot somebody for over a tomato gets closer and closer to yes, you got to worry. Guardian says, yeah, a lot of things keep getting canceled before they get released. I saw that they canceled the new Stargate series. We talked about that, which is something that I was actually looking forward to seeing. Well, you guys know my feelings on Stargate, so I mean, it could have been done better, but they decided to just play it up for laughs, and don't get me wrong. With the series, the actors, they had fun with it, and that's always nice. I mean, I don't know if you guys seen the interview where they're asking, how come you don't carry the extending snake pistol thing ever? And the guy who plays the scientist guy goes, if you look at it, understand it's a penis. And that every time you hit the button and the thing extends up, you just feel wrong trying to hold this thing in your hand. You're like, this is not right. So yeah, they stick with the pistols and everything, just blasting away with blanks. Guardian Sage says, yep, it's just like airdropping. It's physically possible, but the mechanics and divers are going to hate you for doing it. Yeah. And we got another one who is so as she sends another $5 super chat, and she has a story idea. Hold on, let me write idea. D&D adventure. Group gets sent to Halo 40K Super Earth. Super Earth. They have all their powers, stats, and money. Okay, let's see. I have a feeling in Super Earth, they'll probably be shot immediately. 40K, they'll be taken as heretics. And Halo, everyone's just going to be like, what the fuck? Because the thing is, 40K in particular, if you even appear to be able to handle void magic in any stretch of the imagination, even if you just happen to be a telekinetic, it doesn't matter. They're going to either kill you or they're going to take you in to dissect you, which is pretty much the same thing. As 40K is just that way. That was not meant to rhyme, guys. As far as Super Earth, it would depend on which planet, and if they help someone out in the process, or they like maybe are a tamer and can control all the insectoid species and stuff like that. You know, it's there's a lot of ways to go on that one. And as far as Halo, they would end up not liking the Singhili very much because the elites would look at them as how do I put this? As heretics and want to kill them, and then all of a sudden you got somebody who can sword fight a lot better because they're a magic elf that looks like a chick and dancing around shooting arrows out of their ass. But I got it written down, Erica. We'll look into it. Let's see. War Sniper. Hey, Sin, tomorrow I need to go to the hospital to get pictures of my right leg injury. Fun. And now I lay on the couch with a lot of clothing under me to level myself in with my PC. Yeah, you gotta keep that one limb elevated. I mean, I got my shoulder still messed up. Not totally fucked up, but it's messed up enough. I know how that is because when I sit and try to watch something, I got to put my arm up to make sure everything is up and I'm not leaning over to the side. It gets real messed up. When I had my knee worked on, they wanted me to do the same thing. I'm like, guys, I cannot sit with my leg up that high for hours on end. It's just not going to happen. First off, I'm not that flexible. And two, my whole body started to go numb. And there's Douglas saying, sorry, guys, my phone got replaced. Sorry for being late. Lena, you have to explain that cursed gun video to me. Okay. I believe the cursed gun you're talking about is the video I couldn't show because it shows a whole bunch of actual firearms. It just runs through a bunch of them. YouTube has this thing about showing actual firearms. I actually have one video that got demonetized because it was hunting season and my fucking rifle was behind me. It was just sitting there because it was drying from being cleaned and the case was open. Big deal. So what? Somebody saw it. And next thing I know, that the whole thing was demonetized. So they just have this weird thing about if you show anything anywhere when it comes to firearms, I don't know why. Somebody's got their stick up their ass. I mean, really, really, really so far that they have friggin' slivers in the brain. So, yeah, that's all it comes down to. I mean, if it's a fake one, where's that fake one? Like this one I can show because it's obviously fake.
Oh, they're going to have to glue you back together in hell. Kaboom!
Yeah, that's obviously fake. However, if I do anything with firearms, all I get is one of these.
How about no?
Oh, I forgot. Since we were talking about the elf and everything, I'm sorry. I guess we all get one of these.
You are fined 1 homo suspicion point for violation of the Man Code Morality Statute.
I can't have too many of those. That'd be bad. All right. Where was I? Guardian says, with regards to the story where the wife brought home the android with fun bits, the husband might be able to turn a hobby such as whittling or carving into a source of income. Yeah, he could. The whole idea was something that he basically went to school for, something he's been trained for, something he understands is now, and something he was probably very good at since he was the last one there, is now gone. And there goes his income. And he might not have anything lined up. Now, that was actually coming straight off of a podcast out of diaries or interviews with CEOs or something like that, CEO diaries or something. And they were talking about this, and that really kind of stuck in me. I was like, maybe I should put that in the story. I was like, yeah, and it worked. So, but yeah, as far as actual craftsmanship, absolutely. Because the computer, the AI cannot do anything without a plan. It can't just create something from its own thoughts. Guard says, remember, a BT-7 holds the world record for the longest tank jump. 142 feet. Oh my God. That crew must have been hurting so bad. That's a lot of weight to crash down like that. That just, ow. Ow, 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 ow. Lenin says, in the stories where the human has to abandon the planet for a little while, 1 to 2,000 years, the environment on the Earth would change for the original humans. Yeah, it could. It doesn't have to. It could. It basically just repaired itself. Now, here's the thing on that one in particular, and I don't have it pulled up. Oh, yeah, I do. Here it is. The Hive of Humans. Here's the thing. If you're listening close, there was an extra bonus there. It was the fact that the alien species was going around for about 1,000 years looking for other folks. The humans have been asleep for almost a millennia. So they actually, at this point, human technology is actually better than those that woke them up. Now, it's a good possibility that there could have been another event that forced an evolutionary shift or a mutation or something. Could that be possible? Absolutely. I just didn't put that in there. Right? But you're right, Lena. You are right on that. They could have easily changed, especially that long. The thing is, if you look at the fossil record, alligators look like alligators, whales look like whales. You know, ants look like ants. All the shells look like shells. That's the same. So, I hate this. I got a burp that's sitting there, and I don't want to burp while I talk, but it's just kind of, it won't move. Okay, Leah says, has there been an idea of flying starship upside down or sideways in sci-fi? Rarely. Very, very rarely does that happen. I will say the Babylon 5 touched on it a little bit, and I've only seen it one time in Star Trek. However, the majority of it, no, it's all the same. And why is it? That's more for perception of everybody. The fact that Babylon 5 used Newtonian physics in a lot of what they did actually plays into this. And yeah. Now you will see a lot of that if the ship is adrift, but not nearly as much. They should. They really should. I don't talk about it much because it will just confuse everybody on the battlefield. Chris says, sorry I'm late. I just joined in time to see the test motion. Yeah, fun. See, I had to help deal with a pack of wild feral pigs that annihilated my neighbor's chick. Really? Wow, that's vicious. They got in the pen. They took out the birds. Yeah. He says it's been a busy week. I would assume so for that. It's been a busy week for me too. That's messed up, man. It takes people don't realize it takes like 6 months before the chickens even start laying. And then they go through the molting cycle, which takes them out for about anywhere from 3 weeks to 6 weeks. And then if you're lucky, you'll get 2.5, maybe 3 years before they just stop laying. And you got to replace them. So anyway, Eric says, could be a funny 3 to 5 part storyline. A group of D&D adventurers find themselves a Super Earth Halo in 40K type world. And even Chris says thinks that would be funny. The thing is, I'd have to figure out exactly which type of adventurers, because if they're all wizards or they're all archers or something like that, it's not going to work out so well. You also got to figure how big is the group? What species are they going to be? I mean, if you go in the 40K universe, you already have your type of space elves. We all know that. So obviously they'd be like, okay, elf, what are you working with these humans for? What's going on? So, although I don't think any of them is going to be able to deal with a tech priest. You never know, because they're going to be drunk on promethium. And you guys, if you haven't heard that song, you're missing out. That's a fun drinking song right there. Guardian says, yes, creative liberties is why a lot of good books, comics, and old shows get ruined. Yes, absolutely, 100%. On that note, I'm going to take a second and I'm going to just play this real quick. Yep, just shoot them till they're dead. I shoot you till you die from it. Okay. Okay, I think this thing jumped. No, it didn't. Okay, Erica says also D&D group has their powers and stats. Yep, I got all that. It's just gonna, again, I'd have to create the entire group from scratch, and I'd have to decide what order they go where. Chris says, to be creative, I suggest telling stories about history that are actually accurate. But that said, it'll be funny to cast Samuel Jackson as Gandhi. Motherfucker, I'm not going to eat that. Oh, man, that would be funny. Eric is saying, oh, this is the one she like. Cringer, Sorceress, and Orko. Now, the thing about Orko, he was always kind of a wild card. He was always somebody who was right there on the edge of greatness, but just never could quite get there. And that's why I think he was so relatable, especially to young kids, because like you knew how to play a game. You knew you're good, but your body just wouldn't let you do it. So you're right on the cusp. Although don't get me wrong, some people make some really weird comic books with Orko in it. I stopped reading them. I'm like, the thing is, some of them you're not actually reading because you're reading, right? I don't even have a thing for this. As I look around and see how many people are here.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
Yo!
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Keep firing, assholes!
Guardian saying to Erica how it would be a good crossover between sci-fi and fantasy. I like doing those. They just, as far as the channel goes, they don't get a lot of traction. Like when I said humans are low energy, that was a fantasy / sci-fi going at it because the new technology was coming in at the same time. Chris says, I own Meet the Spartans on DVD and super fast. Hey, I heard people I just never saw it. I'd like to. Yeah, Guardian said military acronyms. You mean like Patriot, FOB, and AR-15? Actually, AR-15 is not military. That just stands for Armorlight Model 15. So when people say I hate the AR-15, I go, why do you have a problem with Armorlights? What? They just don't know. And FOB is forward operating base. And as far as Patriots goes, are you talking about the Patriot Act or the Patriot Missile? Because those are two vastly different acronyms. Now, the one thing you got to watch is there is a difference between an acronym and initialism. Most people don't get it. AR-15 is actually an initialism because you don't call it an R-15 or FOB if you just says FOB or FBI, CIA, NSA. Those are all initialisms. So Not really something that really comes up in conversation, but it's still there. All right, Chris says, why would you call the police over a body? It's not like any of them are looking for him. If anything, call 611. Make sure you aren't at any underground pipes or lines. Around here, that's not a problem. That being said, you gotta be smart, because if somebody was watching, or if they happen to have a buddy who got away or whatever, you gotta be smart about it. You gotta follow procedure. If you follow procedure, you won't be in trouble. Just remember to plant a knife on them. All right. Doug says, can't do donations right now until my phone is complete. Set 3. Hey, no worries, man. Absolutely no worries. Actually, Douglas, you missed what I said earlier. You dropped your other $5 like yesterday or something, so you're good for this week. I'm not going to play the bullshit game on that. Have to be within a certain no, that's you're too close. War Snipers over here. He says, I stay with high elf females. I exactly can see she is female. Well, that's the whole thing, is when you look at them, sometimes you can't tell. It's just like when I talk to guys who went over to Thailand. I go, how is it easy to tell the boys from the girls? He goes, sometimes you can't tell. You just cannot tell. At least through American eyes, it's not possible. Sometimes. Not most of the time, just sometimes. Alan says, Wales went from dry to wet twice. Yeah, you could say that. A little wet and dry, and I'm trying to think of a button I can push for that joke. But if they're... No, you know what? That's not going to work. I was going to say a joke, guys. It was so bad, even I thought it was bad. All right. Let's see. Joseph says, The Last Starfighter is one of a handful of films that the ship has no up or down. Yes, that's true. That's one of the reasons that movie works, is because it didn't treat its audience like they were fucking stupid. That's one of the key things on that. Just like the Batman animated TV show. It didn't treat its audience like they were morons. You saw what was happening. You knew what was going on. They didn't have to explain, oh, I'm chasing the bad guy. No, they just did it. And that's what worked. Just again, like Babylon 5, you have Newtonian physics where the Star Fury can face in any direction it wants. Even though they do, I will say this, they do have them kind of fly like planes more often than they should. Lena says, I thought it would be funny for the captain to demand that the other ship to surrender by rotating the ship into the correct position and prepare for boarding action. Oh, that's actually okay. Yeah. Boarding demand. Demand ship move into position. So basically you're saying surrender, assume the position. Got it. So you can board them with the umbilical tube that goes. You know what? I'm too tired to even care about those jokes right now. But let's face it, guys. When it comes to sci-fi, the jokes write themselves, pure and simple. And scrambling up the insides by penetrating deep and yada yada yada. Chris says, story idea. Okay. Space redneck inventors. Building super tech out of scraps. Making a space NASCAR and space meth. I can see space meth especially. There's actually a running, now I don't use it much, but there is a running gag. You guys gotta let me know if this works. And god damn. Speaking of things that work.
May the Schwartz be with you.
We got a $10 super chat from the Guardian Sage. And he says, a typical D&D party has 4 to 5 people in it. 1 tank, 1 healer, 1 rogue for picking locks, 1 ranger, or 1 ranged as medium. A fun mix has elf, halfling, human, and half orc. Alter with the dragonborn and kobold. I'm not going to remember all this. Tank, healer, rogue, and medium. So yeah, that's 4. Now the thing is, as far as I guess the orc would probably be your tank, or the human would. Elves usually do better with healing. Well, actually, halflings do quite well with healing magic, so that could be either one of them. And the rogue for picking locks, that really falls into halfling and human territory for sure. Most elves don't actually do that sort of thing. They would be the ranged medium. They're very locked into that, at least by their nature of not wanting to get hands on because their body simply can't take it. And yet they're still meat stick made. What the fuck? All right. Thank you very much, Guardian Sage. I am going to, what the hell? Okay, I must have missed something here. Okay, just jump down. Okay, space rednecks. Okay, we saw that one. Let's see. Though says there are mutations that show up every now. Okay. Uh-oh. Everyone start to pray for salvation. We have a demon in the house. And he sends a $20 super chat. And let me write this down. He says, oh, you know what? I feel like an asshole, guys. Why didn't I do this? Right up on the screen. Sin, I've been meaning to tell you that you're 100% welcome to use the drone fleet's PAI children as you see fit in any story you make, since PAI has hundreds of thousands of them at various tech levels throughout the dimensions, living or dead. Well, good to know. Good to know. And I feel like a schmuck for not putting everybody else on there, but that's something I've been doing. But yeah, I will keep that in mind. Not really something that jumps at me too often. But I will definitely keep it in mind. All right. And I was up here. Where was I? Oh, shit. Lena says, how old are the elves? By modern standards, 1,000 years for an elf feels like 20 or 30 for a human. That's not true. It's actually not true. The perception of time is a little different, especially when looking into the future. However, the understanding of the actual years going by is still pretty much the same. The difference being is that in human culture, you're considered in a lot of these fantasy genres as adult at 15 and able to travel and go wherever the fuck you want. For an elf, usually you're about, I don't know, 200-300 years old. So you got a lot of training time under your belt, a lot. And that is why everybody is like, oh my God, this young elf is, they're brand new out into the world. They must be thinking like they're 15 years old. No, they know how old they are, which is why the majority of elves do not smile. They do not laugh. They just kind of are there. The only time they smile and laugh is when they're drunk, because most of the time elves cannot handle their liquor. But that really depends on who writes it. I know Tolkien, he loved the idea of elves could outdrink everybody. But, I mean, or hold on, sorry, I said the magic word. Give me a sec. But it really depends on your author on that one. But as far as it feel like 20, 25 years, no, not really. You still know how old you are, and by that point, they're just now looking for all it is the section of their life that they get to just takes longer. I mean, what if you were a kid for an extra 10 years? Would you still think you were young like that? No, you wouldn't. You'd be much more level-headed. Okay, Draven says you should have a steep fine for abuse of creative liberty. Yeah. Well, the steep fine is nobody goes to watch it or reads it. You know, that's yeah. Chris says, and yes, the rednecks in end space to everything tech to make it sound more smart. Basically, humans are space orc stories, quite literally on this case, isn't it? More DACA, more better. Or in this case, more boom, man. We need more boom. A little more cowbell too, but more boom on this thing. Yeah, we need more torque. Yeah, we need more torque. Yeah. Sorry, that's as close as I get to rednecks. Chris says, I freaking loved Humans Are Low Energy. Okay, good. The kicker is that there was always that whenever you write something like that, you really got to be careful because you have to stick with the established lore. And at one point, I actually had to stop, rip an entire page out of my notebook and throw it away because I realized I fucked up. So thankfully, I fixed it, got it out, and there you go. Guards up here saying, one man French army right here. And one man French army. You go back the other way. Guard continues by saying, I have no clue why, but those oscillating turrets on French tanks are either the biggest punch me in the face spots or the biggest fuck you to get volume tricked. You got me. You definitely got me. And we got, once again, for the Emperor! As Guard is, okay, here we go. Says, okay, or, oh, hold on. Oh, okay, just to toss up for next week. Because I might be at a friend's house again. I'll be introducing them to Transformers 2, Revenge of the Fallen. So this should be fun. Well, enjoy yourself on that one. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I had to mark this down. But yeah, I hope they enjoy it. I really do. I was not the biggest fan of that for one thing that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, aside from Shia LaBeouf, because that guy just, I think he just lost his mind totally. Anyway, was when they did Devastator. Anybody who's seen the cartoon can tell you that was not Devastator. They can call it what they want, but that was not Devastator. Okay, it's just absolutely not. I know they were trying to do something else, but not a single Transformers combiner walks on all fours. So it didn't work. To me, it didn't work. I mean, yeah. Did it help bring in one of the most interesting scenes where Agent Seymour Simmons is on the phone to the Navy? It's like, what are you guys doing? Watching the Weather Channel? I Dream of Genie over there? You got 300 satellites over there. Where the hell are all our men? And he goes back and forth. That was actually both of those guys there played it so well. The admiral or captain of the aircraft carrier played it straight, and then you had the guy playing Sector 7 guy. I mean, he just has fun with that shit. I could have gone without seeing his butt cheeks in that movie, which was disturbing. But oh wait, no. But maybe this will help out a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Much better one to look at. Anyway. Let's see, where was I? Oh, hold on. This thing jumped. It shouldn't have jumped. It did jump. Let's see. Lena says, I only know about anime elves. Very few times does anime do elves correctly. A lot of times they only stick with the two types of elves, high elves and dark elves, which honestly are like Jedi and Sith. They're supposed to kill each other whenever they see each other. However, there's like a dozen more. Well, actually, more like a dozen in total. There's dark elves, there's night elves, there's blood elves, there's wood elves, there's it's not water elves. I'm trying to remember what the hell it is. Aqua elves or something like that. Half elves of each of those types as well they all fall under a different category. It gets very confusing very quickly. Way back in the day when I used to do commission work, somebody just wanted a regular story and they wanted the different types of elves tribes dealing with each other. And my God, my brain hurt by the time I was done with that. I literally had to have character sheets tacked up on the wall as I'm going through so I could, before I wrote their line, I go through as, okay, so she would say this, he would do this, and then this guy would, yep, okay, and then I go, oh man, that was, woo. That's one of those times you actually stop just because your brain does hurt. It's been firing too long. Chris saying, laughed my fucking ass off. One of the buddies picked up a ladyboy. We gave him so much hell over that. Yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you also gave him one of these.
You are fined 1 homo suspicion point for violation of the Man Code Morality Statute.
Yep. And that's actually one of the reasons I'm glad. When I was in Thailand, I saw that water. I just got right back in the taxi and said, take me to the airport. I will pay the extra money to get the fuck out of this country. And of course, the taxi driver didn't care. He was getting paid. That's all he gave a shit about. I even gave him a good tip, a really good tip, actually. And he was all happy. Me, I just wanted to get the fuck out of there because the ocean stunk. Leon says, I don't know why nobody tried before writing an isekai with the character reincarnated as a sentient semi-truck demon lord. Could you imagine the title of something like that? Especially the way the Japanese write theirs. It would fill up 3 pages. Demons here says, yeah, because of work, I've been forgetting to tell you that y'all can use them from jumping off point for advancing a civilization or one-time enemy in a short story. They are not all the same tech level. Good to know. Very good to know. Guardians here saying the ranged person can either be a spellcaster, abracadabra, or the bowman. Shook. A 5-person party usually has both, with the bowman being a sniper and the ranged spellcaster doing AoE. Yeah, okay. And by the way, area of effect, guys. In other words, it's the artillery. Was it high? Was it low? Where the hell did that one go? And he also says the healer is also general support. Well, I would assume so, general support. The healer's Doc. You always got to protect Doc. And if Doc goes down, somebody's going to die very, very badly. So, yeah, I mean, I could see that. Douglas here saying, my old phone got to where I couldn't even make a phone call or send emails. So I had to replace it. Yeah. Mine is cracked on the corner, and I don't know how long it's got before it totally just dies on me, and then I'm forced to buy another like $300 to $15,000 freaking phone. I swear, some people will actually pay half as much as a house for the latest phone. I'm just like, why? Why? Just why? Just why? Just why? Just why? Just why? Just why? But if people want it and you can afford it, go nuts. I don't give a shit. I just don't understand why. Lena says, that probably depends on the writer, but sometimes the elves don't age or do it very, very slowly, which means they still look like 30 to 35 years old. Yeah, you're right. It really depends on which one. I mean, I've seen ones where the elves actually have ears that drape down like rabbits. And I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was an anime a long time ago. The guy was isekai, but his body was real small, but he became like the greatest mecha designer ever. And one of the things they talked about was the fact that the elves there live for eons. And for several hundred years, they like to go out and travel and talk to folks and do all this and experience this, that, and the other thing. But eventually they end up just laying there because they've done everything. They've seen everything. They know everything. They just are like, what's the point? I'm just going to lay here and see if something happens. So you're right. It depends on which one. Okay. Demon says, since some never return home, some rarely do, and some almost never leave home, some kill each other off so they can easily adjust to so-called tech level needed for what you need. Just want you to know. Okay. Yeah, he's still talking about the PAI fleet. And Sniper up here going, Sin, by high elf female, they have such huge bags on their chest and such wide hips and big rear, you truly can't mistake them for males. You can if they're wearing armor. And that's kind of the joke of the song, was the fact that you couldn't tell with the armor on. I mean, hell, there are some women there that you would swear they're guys, but they're not. You know, it really depends. And again, this was brought up before War Sniper, is the fact that it depends on what type of elf you have, because some of them are indeterminate growers, and the older the elf gets, the taller they get. And if they get to a certain height and you don't see any, chesticles there, you pretty much understand. Not to mention, by the time they get that old, they probably pumped out a couple of kids. That being said, it really, really, really depends on the lore and how they're going to run this. Demon saying, my favorite Transformer from the movies was the tank from the first one. I forgot his name, sadly. That was supposed to be, and I'm trying to remember, it was the triple changer from the original. But the name they gave it was it's like Rampage or something like that. And then they called another one in the second movie Rampage, and that one they set up right, because Rampage has a vertical slit mouth. Even in the old old comic books, he was that way. And Rampage was just that, someone who could not control himself. He would go on a rampage all the time. And he was a mutant. He was a straight up mutant as far as Transformers go. And he ended up linking up with what's known as Transmutate, which is, yes, that is what she was called, because she was such a freak. They didn't know what to actually name her. So it's like calling a person a mutant, and that's their first name. Hey, mutant, get your ass over here. But she was basically the yin to his yang and all that sort of thing. And she was able to balance him out. If anything happened to her, he lost it. I mean, he was like Silverbolt when Black Arachnia got whacked. I mean, he just totally lost his shit. That was, I'm trying to remember the comic exactly, but it's been such a long time. It was something along the lines of Transmutate got hurt. Rampage lost it. He actually lost it on the Decepticons, but he hated the Autobots just as much. And one of the Autobots actually brought Transmutate in and actually fixed her. Not saved her, because she was in stasis lock. She'll stay there permanently. But they oh, sorry, I said the word. But when she came out of stasis lock and they returned her to Rampage, he immediately calmed down because that's how much of effect she has over him. You know, maybe she's just his fuck toy. I don't know. She's a transforming sleeve of sorts, so to speak. But I'm trying to remember the name of that because it was a triple changer that was a plane, a tank, and a bot, and I can't think of it. I know I can see it in my mind. It's tan with purple. What the tank was supposed to be. And by the way, no actual tank has all that crap on it. That mine roller that it had on the front, sure. But having the external rocket pods, no, absolutely not. Erica thinking Shiloh LaBeouf got MK Ultra. Yeah, probably. Lena says, oh yeah, those dark elves, normal elves, and wood elf. Oh, there's a lot more. The one you do not want to be around is, well, blood elves, yeah, because they'll probably just use your blood anyway. But there's a type of spirit elf. I'm trying to remember the actual title for it. And they will actually suck your soul out of your body so they can use it as a power source. They're pretty, but they're twisted. Just like my ex-girlfriend. Or one of them. Demon says, sorry, my comment was split up character limits. It's not a problem. Lena says, also, there are sci-fi elves, but those are special case. Yes, 100%. And yes, Guardian, I know that the capital of Thailand is Bangkok. I know. I've seen, was it Hangover 2 or 3, where they actually see that shit. And I was just like, I still remember, I was like, wait a minute, something's about to happen. I know something's about to happen. What's going to happen? And then when he turned around and kind of flashed him, I still remember half the studio went, dude, no, whoa, no, this ain't right. No, oh, that's just And a lot of people put their beverages and their snacks down at that point. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Anybody can do what the hell they want. It's just not something most people want to see. Lena says, there's also rich elves. Yes, there are. Most of them not rich in the way people think. But they have a lot of things they can trade for money. Demon says, I really need to finish those stories. Sorry, guys. I'll get there eventually. No worry. You do it on your schedule. You do it right. Doug says, fun is when you have muscle and tendon spasms in the knee at the same time. Okay, I'm just going to say one word for that. Ouch. Just, makes me want to have that video from Spaceballs where Barf had his foot crunched by the big statue of yogurt. Yeah, wow, oh, wow. Maybe I'll try to look that one up. Anyway, I do have to say this for you guys who saw your buddy who realized that he took a ladyboy. I guarantee
it was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
That's where he was all of a sudden, like, oh my God, what the fuck? Especially when he saw you guys again. They're like, did you realize what you left with? Oh shit, you saw? And let's see. Yeah, pinched nerves. Yeah, that's not fun. Lena says, high elves are the same as rich elves. I can probably see that. Yeah, more or less. Most elves are the as far as gray elves, I'm trying to shadow elves. That's what it is. Shadow elves. They're not dark elves. Dark elves are solid black, like charcoal black, like The color of this remote, black. I mean, they're just, they do look like charcoal. But the gray ones are shadow elves, not to be confused with night elves. Like I said, there's a lot of different ones. It's very hard to keep up with them all. Let's see. Guardian says some parties have their healer duty split between two players and their classes that do something else as a primary, like have a paladin and a druid instead of having a cleric. Okay, I could see that. Now, it's actually important that you don't have one person as a specialty character in any of these, because if you lose that one person, there's a massive gap in your offense and defense. It's absolutely crazy. Yep, Knights of Magic. That's what that was called, with the guy isekai'd into kind of a short dude and became like the greatest developer slash mecha warrior, if you want to call it that. Because he understood the machine. He built the damn thing. Of course, I do love all those where the guy is literally surrounded by women that want to jump him, to include an elf queen. And and yet this guy's like, no, I'm focusing on my work. No, you're not focusing on your work. You're scared of women, just like all the other guys over in Japan. And I can understand why, considering the way their culture is. Demon's up here saying, I miss D&D. Only ever played 2 campaigns. Never finished either one, sadly. Hold on. But it was fun. Just need the right group and the time. Yeah. Actually, that's one of the things in the prepper groups, is to make sure you have D&D. And okay, thank you, Draven. Oh man, I need a...
You gotta be fucking kidding.
I didn't have a button for you, but I can put on here. Thank you, Draven, for letting me know. That was Blitzwing. Thank you. They actually had Blitzwing is supposed to be also, in certain contexts, he's supposed to be the a twin fighter plane of another one. They never did that in the original series. The only ones that were like related, like brotherish sort of thing, was the swoops, because they all look very similar. Now, if I was to write a Transformers one, hint, 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 then one of the things I would show is that anybody with the similar color palette has a high chance of being actually at least by Cybertronian standards, being a relative. So if someone like, say, Starscream, who is red, white, and blue, and then you have Optimus Prime, who is red, white, and blue, if Starscream, who was a scientist aboard, or when they were on Cybertron, who was always better than his archivist little brother named Orion Pax, he wouldn't have anybody challenging his ego. He'd already be shown as like the number one. And then magically Orion Pax becomes Optimus Prime and shows him up in every single way except for flying. Yeah, that would piss him off. That would mess up his ego a little bit. And that would make, Starscream kind of resent his brother that way. And then they'd end up fighting on other sides. See, I can do that sort of thing too. Now, the thing is, if you look at any others that are in that same color scheme, the red, white, and blue, there is Windraiser. I'm probably getting that one wrong. And like 2 or 3 others. So you would be like, okay, so they have a high risk of being like either cousins or aunt and uncle, brothers, however you want to put that as far as Cybertronians go. And yeah, that could be, that can make things kind of interesting. Especially since at one point Windblade had a thing for Optimus Prime. If you can't keep it in your pants, keep it in your family, I guess. Why not? That's what the rich people do. Anyway, where was I? There's Chris saying, when you eat an elf, do they taste better original or extra crispy? I don't know. I'll ask her next time if she can stop screaming in pleasure. Alan says, Chris, it's more like aged chicken. Dude, guys, I can't focus enough for a particular joke on that. That's just funny. All right. See, Doe says, my new phone only cost me $10 plus taxes and fees. Well, that's actually a pretty good deal. And there's Chris saying, so barbecue sauce is a definite, Alan? Oh, barbecue sauce is a definite, right, Alan? Yeah. I guess that would make it some hot wings. Yeah, it's you guys with the capital Thailand on that. All right, Demon saying, I have so many and character ideas for D&D 2. I even have a fantasy empire I have designated, but the files got corrupted and lost it. Been too lazy to remake it. Well, have to go back to work. Have a good night. Miss y'all. All right. See you later, Demon. Cheers. Yeah, when I was in college, so a lot of people like playing D&D. I just never really got into it. Plus, they said, well, you got to go buy a 20-sided die. I'm like, how much are those? Oh, they're like $15. I'm like, piss right off. Plus, you had to buy your little figurines and everything. I'm like, no. Guardian says, with modern D&D subclasses, almost any class can play any role. The main exception is the lockpick, which is still tried to be one of the rogue subclasses. Hold on. But I think there is background choice that gives proficiency with a kit of your choice. And why don't they just use their double-handed broadsword and break the damn thing open? Let's see. Elena says, I think that orcs should not be confused with the elves. It's probably an elf propaganda. Just like all the orc on elf stuff that you see. That's actually one of my biggest pet peeves whenever I'm trying to do any type of fantasy work. And like when I was like, okay, orc and elf, search image. And it's all that sort of, I'm just like, guys, no, stop it. It's just covering the place. I'm like, I don't need to see that shit. That's not what I'm here for. Let me just find the right freaking file and get the hell out of here. It's annoying. Let's see. Chris says, can you imagine an elf or vampire being thousands of years old, but on EBT and living in Section 8 housing? Oh, man, that is funny. Oh, man, that is hilarious, dude. Oh, wow. Just freaking wow. Holy jumping Jehoshaphat's. Wow, that is just funny. It's messed up. That's why it's funny. Alan says, I started playing D&D in 2nd edition and quit in 4th. Okay. I have no idea how many editions there. I didn't even know there were editions. See, Chris says, I can hear them saying they lost it all in Y2K stocks. Why not? War Sniper, of course, saying, I want to snoo the Elf Queen in Knights and Magic. Well, seriously, but I guarantee she would get pissed at you and then she would condemn you
to death by snoo.
You knew I had to play that one. That was coming up. But then again, you know, it also is a matter of trust to them, and she might not trust you.
X doesn't trust me right now.
Really? Why not?
Because I got to use a sniper rifle and I ended up unloading a round into her ass.
Hey, chicka bum bum.
Caboose, what did I tell you about that?
Sorry.
Let's see. Sniper says, also, I love the USS Kidd had a railgun on Transformers 2, and that shoots the big robot off the pyramid. And after they see with a drone, the battlefield, they send in a strike package landing aircraft. Bradley Abrams Marines, the B-1B to carpet bomb the Decepticons. Yeah. And yeah, it's nice seeing all that, but I'll tell you what, nobody would ever offload everything that close to each other. It's not the beach landing at Omaha. And honestly, there's a lot more that goes to it than just driving up with one of those hovercraft, dropping the ramp and going. It is a several minute long process because once they have to move up to the beach. They have to deflate the bags. They can't do anything with the tank until then. Then they have to unhook all the chains, and then you can start up the tank and take off. It's not just, oh, the tank's already started. We're on the beach. Go. No, that shit don't fly anymore. Of course, it didn't fly in the first place. It's a hovercraft, but still. Let's see. Douglas says, Rangers have mage and healer abilities. Yeah, light heal, if I remember correctly. Lena says, I know that I sometimes don't even notice German lore with elf characters. Well, the thing is, how do I put this? Most elf characters actually come from more Nordic areas, just like pixies and whatnot. So they're not really Germanic. Guardians up here. Oh, continuing with us says, because it might be a trap. Oh, no, he's talking about why don't you just whack with a broadsword? He says, because it might be a trap. You could have a fireball explode in your face if you just use a sword. Well, I say step back and shoot the damn thing then. Guardians up here saying 4th edition is the redheaded stepchild of D&D. Currently, we're on edition 5. Something since Wizards of the Coast doesn't want to officially designate the newer core book. All right, I'm just looking here. All right, just so you guys know, again, looking at all you awesome people out there, I just want to say thank you all for being here and, donating everything tonight. And it makes me want to say,
we're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Yep. So I keep wanting to have other videos over here that I can use. I just haven't been able to rip them. It's like I can rip one video a day, and if I rip one that sucks, I can't use it, then it is what it is. I haven't been able to rip anything in a while. So, all right, we're pretty much at the end of the comments, folks. But that doesn't mean you can't throw something in real quick. We've been going for just over 2 hours, and I am so freaking tired that it's a good thing you guys can't see my eyes. It is actually a very good thing that you can't see my eyes, because I'm about to sit here and just scream, God fucking damn it! And just lean over on the side of the bed and fall asleep on the floor, which I used to do a lot. And that's when you know you're tired, okay? And little side army story, guys. And yes, am I going down the rabbit hole? Just a little. Just a little bit, okay? And some of you might have heard me say this one before, but I was over in Schofield, and we had an XO who wanted to do what he called 5 days of fun. Well, he messed up a little bit, and turns out it was 4. And we did a 4-day movement to contact. In other words, for 4 days, we did not stop. We did not stop at all. And we got back to the company. I still remember throwing my bag in the cages. I'm like, I will clean this shit later. I'm not carrying this damn thing. He came down. He had all the tobacco he took. He threw it in front of everybody. And he's like, okay, day one, the weapons, get them in there. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Everybody in formation. Okay, we'll see you in at the end of the weekend. And anybody who actually tried to drive had to call for backup. Anyways, usually by backup, I mean they had to call their wives. Anyways, I got back to my room. No joke. Took like a 2-second freaking shower, just enough to knock the stink off. Got back in my room. The stench of my uniform was enough for me to go over, cinch up the laundry bag, close everything. I went back in over to the sink or something. I think I just downed some water. I walked into my bedroom and my legs just buckled. And I just barely got over. I reached up. I grabbed the blanket off the bed. I'm laying on a freaking beanbag chair of all things. Pull the blanket and I'm out. And I think I wake up 3 hours later. I look at my watch. I'm like, oh, man, I was only asleep for 3 hours. Man, I feel great. No, I slept for 27 hours straight. I didn't even care. I was that tired. And if I can't focus enough to get you guys to do this one right, I will have to do it tomorrow after I bring my nephew to work. So, I mean, it is what it is, guys. I hate to drag it out. But it's just me. It's not like I can pass it off to someone else. So anyway, since there's no more stuff coming in, hopefully nobody has to deal with any Bolsheviks over the next week.
There, I said it. Bolsheviks. Bolsheviks. Now drink.
I know that's creepy as shit. So anyways, Deathbed said 20-sided die don't cost $15. Just buy a cheap set, way less than that. The place I went is what they were selling them for. So yeah, I'm sure they were just trying to rip us off. Anyway, safety brief, guys. You know, if you drink, you don't. If you drive, you don't. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, feel free to beat their ass. It's a whole lot easier to explain to the cops why you just broke your buddy's nose than to explain to the paramedics why he broke both his legs. It's just better that way. And I do not know a single cop ever. It doesn't matter if it's MPs, state cops. Hell, I know a sheriff. Actually, he's still a sheriff. He says if he finds two guys fighting and one guy was just trying to stop somebody else from driving drunk, nobody's getting in trouble. He's just separating the two, taking keys and saying, fuck off, get a cab. And yeah, nobody's getting arrested. Everybody's just going to get some bruises, and that's about it. So also, if your little soldier's going in the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. It gets wet in the poncho if you know what you're doing. Aside from that, again, be careful on the roads, guys. The weather is not exactly helping matters out there. I just pulled a stick from the underside of my car the other day just because there was so much debris on the ground. So if a windstorm goes through, especially, just make sure you take care of yourselves, guys, because it could be bad. And we have a certain bike rider on here who knows exactly what I'm talking about. You know, he loses control of that front wheel. Over he goes. He doesn't have a choice. And you don't want to be the one to go sliding into him. That would be bad. That would just be bad. So on that note, I really need to make myself an outro video. But you extremely awesome people, take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time right here. Same Syntax time, same Syntax channel. Y'all take care of yourselves. It's your host, and I am Punch.